for my job, Weah. The time is the Babylon and more, Weah. They seen people that made me forget Weah. I the man and teaching get a camera. Tippy, roll. Destiny for a plenty and we don't know. I singing this song from my soul. The people that we tell are so cool. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. Baga full la brain people. Baga me wa to for ile we fully people. They gina go nowhere on the fire. It's going on, you can get it, you can get her. What kind of teenager you doing so? The teenager you own a record can be so. What kind of teenager you doing so? The teenager you own a record can be so.
Who was sitting with them waga break gang? I would my phone and you with chin leg. If there was 16, I ready be all dance. As soon we pull it, then I see a chitty pig. Waga they form a criminal or directors. They wanna store in Eddie Come made them ministers. Waga tell 100 to no car will issue more. If I bring policy that will be fighting jobs, who need to go to DEA for the whole job? They hadn't said it for they wanted this people job. But then we put it for better, no food for common people. The only trouble when you come by the sake people.
We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring it.
Oh, thank you very much to ask a question.
Eric King.
Shallow big prince, yeah. They made me forget about my job, Weah. The time is the Babylon and more, Weah. They seen people that made me forget Weah. I the man and teaching get a camera. Tippy, roll. Destiny for a plenty and we don't know. I singing this song from my soul. The people that we tell are so cool. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. Baga full la brain people. Baga me wa to for ile we fully people. They gina go nowhere on the fire. It's going on, you can get it, you can get her. What kind of teenager you doing so? The teenager you own a record can be so. What kind of teenager you doing so? The teenager you own a record can be so.
Who was sitting with them waga break gang? I would my phone and you with chin leg. If there was 16, I ready be all dance. As soon we pull it, then I see a chitty pig. Waga they form a criminal or directors. They wanna store in Eddie Come made them ministers. Waga tell 100 to no car will issue more. If I bring policy that will be fighting jobs, who need to go to DEA for the whole job? They hadn't said it for they wanted this people job. But then we put it for better, no food for common people. The only trouble when you come by the sake people.
We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so.
Oh, thank you very much to ask a question.
Eric King.
Shallow big prince, yeah. They made me forget about my job, Weah. The time is the Babylon and more, Weah. They seen people that made me forget Weah. I the man and teaching get a camera. Tippy, roll. Destiny for a plenty and we don't know. I singing this song from my soul. The people that we fought tell are so cool. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. Baga fuile la brain people. Baga me wa to for ile we fully people. The gina go no era one foya. It's going on you can get it, you can get her. Baga na tinela you doing so. The tinela you own a record come so. Baga na tinela you doing so. The tinela you own a record come so.
Who was sitting with them waga break gang. I would my volume with chin leg. There was 16 a very big dance. As soon we put it then I see a chitty pick. But I made for more criminal or directors. The one that stole in Eddie government made them ministers. But I tell 100 no car will issue more. If I bring policy that would be fighting drugs. Who need to go see DEA for the whole job? They hadn't said it for they still wanted this bigger job. But then we put it for bed, no food for common people. You only travel when you come by, you be sacking people.
We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so.
Oh, thank you very much to add a question.
Eddie King.
Shallow beauty prince, yeah. They made me forget about my job, Weah. They tell me say they probably I'm more, Weah. They see people that made me forget, Weah. I the man and teaching get a camera. Tippy, roll. They skinny for a plenty and we don't know. I singing this song from my soul. The people that we fought tell are so cool. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The people that we put there, we not know so. Baga fuile la brain people. Baga me wa to for ile we fully people. The gina go no era one foya. It's going on you can get it, you can get her. Baga na tinela you doing so. The tinela you own a record come so. Baga na tinela you doing so. The tinela you own a record come so.
Who was sitting with them waga break gang. I would my volume with chin leg. There was 16 a very big dance. As soon we put it then I see a chitty pick. But I made for more criminal or directors. The one that stole in Eddie government made them ministers. But I tell 100 no car will issue more. If I bring policy that would be fighting drugs. Who need to go see DEA for the whole job? They hadn't said it for they still wanted this bigger job. But then we put it for bed, no food for common people. You only travel when you come by, you be sacking people.
We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we put there, we not know so. We bring the keeper, we not know see. The keeper that we put there, we not know see. We bring the keeper, we not know see. The keeper that we put there, we not know see. We bring the keeper, we not know see. The keeper that we put there, we not know see. Baga fouille la brain people. Baga me wa to for il est fully people. The gina kono era one foya. It's going on you can get you can get her. What kind of thing like you doing so? The thing like you on a record tell me so. What kind of thing like you doing so? The thing like you on a record tell me so.
We was sitting with them waga break gang. I would my phone and you with chin leg. There was 16 I ready be all dance. As soon we pull it then I see a chitty pay. Waga they for one criminal or directors. The one that stole in Eddie government made them ministers. Waga tell 100 to no car will issue more. If I ain't bringing party, say that we be fighting drugs. Who need to go see DEA for the whole job? They hadn't said it for they wanted this bigger job. But then we put it for it, no food for common people. We only travel when we come by the sack.
We bring the keeper, we not know so. The keeper that we
Kindly hit for us the share button, please.
we bring the keeper, we not
Share with friends.
keeper that we put there, we not
Share with family.
we bring the
Let them know that we are under the Palava Hall.
keeper that we put there.
We're about to bring you information that are worthy.
The keeper, we not know so.
Just hit for us the share button. Invite as many friends as you can. Tag as many persons that you can tag. It's going to be so wonderful. Let's discuss this dark bucket.
The thing like you on a record tell me so. What kind of thing like you doing so? The thing like you on a record tell me so.
We was sitting with them waga break gang. I would my phone and you with chin leg. There was 16 I ready be all dance. As soon we pull it then I see a chitty pay. Waga they for one criminal or directors. The one that stole in Eddie government made them ministers.
That's how we do it right here, fellow Liberians and abroad. So again, kindly hit for us the share button, share with friends, share with family members, let them know that we are here. We're going to be here for a short while. Just share with friends and share with family members. Invite as many persons as you can invite. And let's have a wonderful, a wonderful, wonderful time this evening, this afternoon, whatever the time is from your end. Let's do this together. We can do it together, right? We can do it together. So let's take. All right. Hmm. It's going to be a wonderful day today.
For money to buy him plane ticket. So now I will call my boy Monrovia AJ. My man, what your Delta best rates now? He got to fly business class. I'm looking for money all over the place for that old man. The last trip, they were full. Joe Boakai, Charles Snetter, Jacob Kabakoli, and Maureen Nima. The four of them, the tickets cost 15 grand. A friend of mine in Minnesota, I squeezed 9K out of him.
Wow.
9K. We bought the tickets on his credit card and we raised it. And that trip cost us $30,000, excluding the medical. I had to swipe my debit card to the hospitals we took him. I took Joseph Boakai to hospital to see doctor. Joseph Boakai, the doctor said Joseph Boakai sick. Joseph Boakai, all know we concern about it. We booked tickets. I still have the tickets. I can forward the tickets to you guys via email right now. The ticket is still open.
All right, so fellow Liberians home and abroad, we are hoping to be here for a very short while. But again, we want to use this time to welcome each and every one of you that have joined us today. It's always a privilege when we have the opportunity to be here with distinguished people, especially those of you who support the work that we do. I want to say thank you so very kindly. We are here because of you. There's some of you who have never given up on us. You continue to support the work that we do in whatever way, through your comments, through your sharings, through your financial might, and whatever way. We want to say we appreciate you so kindly. And it is because of you that we are here and will continue to be here. So I want to say thank you in a special way. We say welcome to each and every one of you. We appreciate you. The names are so many, we cannot call everything, but to you that have joined us, we say you are welcome. Those of you that are joining us from Liberia, we really do appreciate you. Peter, one day, thank you so much joining us there from Crown Hill. Crown Hill, you are in the house from Liberia. It's a blessing to have our people from Liberia. We appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly. We appreciate you. We want to say welcome to Tamba. Thank you so much. Tamba, you are welcome. Mabu Rogers, how are you? Klati is in the house. Mabu Rogers. I mean, all of our wonderful people are in the house. I want to say thanks to all of you. I want to appreciate you. As usual, we ask that you please do us a favor. And the favor that we want you to do for us is to hit for us the share button, invite as many friends as you can invite as we begin this particular, discussion today. But today, fellow Liberians, we have with us the Honorable James Bill Creighton, an ideologue, one who is well sophisticated when it comes to the politics of Liberia, one who is very diverse when it comes to, discussing what is happening in Liberia. So we are privileged today to have with us a brother, a friend, the Honorable James Bill Creighton. Honorable Creighton, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, my dear brother Prince Sharif, and I'm happy to be here this time at this time.
Thank you. How's the weather treating you? We need now to ask. We're already in the cold.
Well,
We're
the
in the
weather,
winter aspect.
the weather is not easy, my brother.
I
I
know.
guess you are experiencing it on your side there too.
Definitely, definitely. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's crazy.
mm,
But again, we want to say our prayers go out there to our people in California. It is not easy.
yeah,
There's a serious fire
hmm
disaster there in California,
yeah,
and
man.
our
I'm still
prayers,
watching it on the CNN. Yeah, it's
yeah,
terrible, man. We pray
it's
for
very
them.
horrible. It's very
Mm,
horrible. So our prayers out there to our people, pray for us here in the United States, especially when it comes to this time, during the cold
mm,
season. Many things can happen here, especially with the homeless, it's going to be too many. It's horrible, but let's pray,
yeah,
that God will
mm,
take control. I want to welcome
yeah.
my own brother, Emmanuel Bro, who is with us on the YouTube channel. Again, I want to encourage those of you who are not following us on YouTube, please do us a favor. We just started the YouTube channel. You can please follow us there. Thank you so very kindly. We do appreciate you. So you can follow us on the YouTube channel. Those of you that are following us on our personal profile, we want to say thank you so much. And those of you that are following us on the page, if you are not following us on the page, please like, follow, and share. Thank you so very kindly. So today, I am here with the Honorable James Bill Creighton. We're going to be discussing so many issues. And the first thing we're going to start from, fellow Liberians, is the statement that was made by Joseph Numa Boeka. And as you may be aware, this is a kind of discussion that is very important because it has to do with the life. It has to do with the foundation of our nation. It has to do with the survivability of our country. So we want to we want to begin with our first discussion. I am very sure, Honorable Creighton, you had the opportunity to listen to Mr. Boeka when he appeared in Lofa. When he appeared in Lofa, among so many statements he made, there was this terrible statement that Boeka made in Lofa, which I want to play here for us. I just want to play it for the audience, and then we will go right there to see how best we can be able to discuss, analyze it. Let me just play it right here for the audience. I'm going to play it here for the audience so that the listing, let's play it right here so that the listing and hear what the man who is supposed to be fighting corruption is saying here. So let's go there. We are there. We are there.
Thank you. And we want to encourage.
So we are here. I just want us to take a listing at this. This is going to be the first. topic on our discussion plate this evening.
We want to encourage those who want to remain corrupt and steal money that I beg them. The money should be used to bless our people. Thank you and God bless. We want to encourage those who want to remain corrupt and steal money that I beg them. The money should be used to bless our people. Thank you and God bless. We want to encourage those who want to remain corrupt and steal money that I beg them. The money should be used to bless our people.
All right. So, Honorable Creator, I'm very sure that you had the opportunity to actually listen to that particular clip from Joseph Newman Boyka when he appeared there in Lofa County, where he encouraged government officials, people who should be the servant of the people who should protect the wealth of the people who should ensure that the resources are adequately protected and to be used for the people's benefit. You're listening to the president who is supposed to fight corruption, that is supposed to be that particular phase of the fight of corruption. You're listening to him encouraging his official to engage in corruption, but that when they engage in the corruption, that money should be used on the people. Sir, what is your own take about the statement of Joseph Newman Boyka and the implication that it is having or it will have on the people of Liberia, on our peace and our democracy? Let's hear from you, sir.
Well, thank you very much again, my dear brother, Prince Sharif, and I'm happy to be on the Palava Hut this time, and I want to say thank you for all that you do for the Liberian people. You know, I monitor your platform, see that you disseminate those information that the people need to have, especially for people who are in the diaspora, and sometimes may be concerned about what is unfolding back home. You keep updating them about these activities, the state of affairs of Liberia. We want to say thank you very much for what you do.
You're welcome,
You
sir.
know, relative to the statement that was made by Mr. Joseph Newman Boak, I think it was made about, I think, a month ago in Lofa County, right?
About 3 weeks ago, yeah, roughly
Yeah,
three
okay,
weeks
yeah,
ago.
yeah, almost a month ago now.
Yeah,
Uh,
almost.
you know, that statement, Mr. Sharif, is an endorsement of corruption. That's why, you know, we have said that Joseph Boakai, looking at his history, in Liberia, you know, most of the people who elected him in the country or supported him always emphasized about his experience and all of that. But there were positions that he served in, right? There were governments that he served in, like the interim government of former president, let's say interim president Dr. Abel Sawyer.
Sure.
And in that government, I think he was at LPRC or so, LPMC, or one of these corporate institutions. And do you know that there was some issue of corruption, you know, that he was caught up in a web with, and for which reason he was dismissed under that government. Fast forward to the Dole regime. That was a military regime and all of that. And Waka also again served in that government. And for on another issue of corruption again, he was dismissed. You know, so Waka has the history of corruption. So his endorsement of corruption through that statement that he made in Lofa County, telling his public official to, if they want to continue to steal, they can go ahead, but the money should be used for, you know, to bless the people.
Hmm.
What he meant, from my own interpretation, is telling them that because my brother, stealing is stealing, no matter how you you describe it. To steal is wrong, or to be corrupt is a bad thing. Corruption has affected the fabric of our society in Liberia. It has impeded development and all of that. So a certain president encouraging cabinet ministers to steal or be corrupt, but the proceed thereof should be used to bless the people. You are not blessing the people with that, with whatever proceed. Once the act in which you engage in is criminal, is devilish, you are not using it to bless the people, but you are instead harming them. And that was the message that Boakai was sending out there, to his officials or cabinet ministers. And the moment that statement was made, even though we saw some issue with of corruption in the country already from day one when he took over, or he had not prosecuted some of these people, or there had been no actions taken against them, even though that was one of his campaign messages that he will fight against corruption and all of that. His minister of state, Grisby, uh, when during the transitional process, took over 500 K or so from NASCAR and vehicles and other that were procured, which he never had the authority to have done. When that issue came up, Baka did not take, any action. That is to tell you that Baka supports corruption. That is to tell you that the statement that he said over there, some of the folks are saying that, some of the people who supporting are saying that maybe, it was the wrong choice of words or so. No, it was intentional. And God has a way of exposing people. And that was just one instance. You know, you remember when he made a statement also again about disrupting the peace if he doesn't win the election. That was
Sure.
in Grand Bassa County, I think, right? It was at a
Yeah.
rally when he said that if I know, if we do not win these elections, it means that the country will be what? I think he said the country will go down, Liberia will go down or something.
Yeah.
Yes. So these statements only tell you about the inner motive of Joseph Newman Boakai. So corruption, my brother, in Liberia now, I see you are hearing about the one at Finance Ministry where the deputy minister Bill Maggie Jones or who is involved in a conflict of interest awarding a contract of over I don't know how many thousand, 800,000 United dollars just for the painting of a building,
Sure.
to I think a brother or a friend or a childhood friend or something. And when he was quizzed on the other platform there, when he appeared on that platform, he was quizzed. He said that he had no, that's a relations with the individual or so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
later on, the facts were unearthed. That actually Bill McGee Jones and this guy grew up together. They went to school together. So there is an issue of conflict of interest here. All of these things tied to corruption. And Bwagai is encouraging the official continue stealing, but when you steal, give me my share, because when you're talking about blessing the people, you are not blessing the people. He actually meant that his share should be given to him. That's why he was trying to say that. Because if I steal as a public official and the funds that I took, I know that I'm not supposed to take it. What if that fund was intended to build roads? What if that fund was intended to build hospitals for the benefit of the people? And then I take that money and then I embezzle it or so. Because he's not telling them that use the fund to let's say use government fundings appropriately or for the intended purpose. But he's saying that still get the money and then use some of the money to let's say for the benefit of not for the benefit of the people, but to bless the people in his
Yeah.
words. So that's corruption is corruption, my brother. Joseph Numa Baka has endorsed corruption officially in Liberia. And this is why you are seeing all of these practices of corruption already just 1 year in his government is going on right now. So
And
it is not
you strike,
surprising to me at all.
yeah,
Mhm.
you strike a very important point as it relates to, you know, his dealings, what I mean, his
Yeah.
past
In past government, yes.
statement that he has
Hmm.
made and
Hmm.
his past government.
Yes.
And this is why we continue to tell the Liberian people
Hmm.
it is always important that when you want to elect leaders, you do your own background check of that particular person.
Exactly.
Some of you may not have the opportunity to really do that. And
Mhm.
that's why you have some of us around.
Yes,
I
people like
remember
you.
people going to the elections of
Mhm.
23.
Yeah.
We outlined to the Liberian people in clear tone that
So
Mr.
all of these things.
Weah will not be somebody that will be able to protect the interest of the Liberian people. We
No.
saw that doing the the CPP. We saw how
Yeah.
Joseph Newman Boyka was very ineffective,
He has
very
no leadership
divisive.
ability.
He has
Mhm.
no leadership ability and etc. It was
None.
displayed in the CPP to the
Exactly.
extent he even wanted to exonerate himself from the leadership. But at the time, people already knew, the
Mhm.
kind of person he was.
Exactly.
But again, there were people who refused to believe. And they said they bought into the
The
scheme of
propaganda, the
Joseph Newman Boyka, the
deception, and all
propaganda.
of that. Yes.
That, oh yeah,
The
everything was
lies.
happening wrong. Oh, everything was happening wrong. Everything was happening. You are from CDC government. You are from this. You are
Yeah.
from that. Today we are at the stage where Liberians are
It's
now
going.
saying it with their
Yeah.
own mouth.
hmm
It
hmm
is sad.
Yeah.
This man has
And
no
yeah.
record, no
hmm
history of protecting the people's interests. No.
No.
This was a
No.
man that openly said to the Liberian people that look, we squandered your
Our
opportunity.
yes. Our opportunity. Yes. He did. So, so in essence, why he was saying that they squandered the opportunity because he himself was also involved because he spent 12 years as a sitting vice president. The
Mm,
sitting vice president is the president of the Senate. Over 60 plus Bukos concessions were
sure.
signed in that house under his leadership as president of the Senate. No one
Mm,
should lie to you that the president of the Senate is a nominal role or so that you would just sit down there all day. It was a nominal rule for Brackett because because he lacked leadership ability and he sat down there and didn't project himself. We saw our own vice president, Her Excellency Dr. Joa Howard Taylor, yeah, doing our regime. She was very much proactive. You know, there are some things that she advocated for, in the House. She was the president of the Senate. So Braga shouldn't tell you, you shouldn't listen to the chicanery or some of his surrogates saying that, oh, the man was just there. He said that he was an old raising car park or something like that. But
mm,
his office was getting budgetary allotment of which some names on that payroll. It came out around 20, it was it I think yeah, the year before the past government left, before the George Weah government came in.
yeah,
It happened that
2016.
there was some audit that was commissioned in his office, and they found out that there were some ghost names, 15 persons, ghost names. The people were not in the office, but then their salary was being remitted through the Ministry of Finance, and it was being collected by his office. So all of these things, we outlined them to the Liberian people during the campaign. But they all thought that it was just a propaganda. It was just because we wanted to maintain power or retain power or what have you. Joseph Newman Barker have a history. Right now in the country, ghetto machines or they are fighting the speaker, the sitting speaker, on Ofunati Kofa to remove him. Why do you think that? That entire fight is only because they want to have hold of the national budget. They want to manipulate it. They want to put into that national budget things that will not go through the right procurement processes and all of that. We talk about the yellow machine issue just for one instance, right? They were being paraded in Monrovia there, saying that the yellow machine it was I don't know from Black Eyes or friend or something like that. Because
Yep, a
when
friend.
yeah, when and this is why it can make me laugh. Well, Black Eye had all these friends when he was dying here. It took former President Weah to pay money for him to come to America to get treatment. So where were all those friends? When some of them wanted to lie, they talk about how it was one of his friends that sent the private jet. When we went to do background investigation, we found out that the private jet was being paid for by the Liberian government because it was being rented. You know, so the yellow machine issue now, you do not hear about it in the country that much because the sitting speaker Honorable Funati Kofa, they know very well that if they bring that yellow, if they put that yellow machine in the budget through any kind of surreptitious means, it will definitely be on earth, and they will have to justify why is it going there. If you said that this machine have been given to you by your friends, why is it that the Liberian people have to pay for this machine? Those are the things that they don't want, for the Liberian people to know. They don't want to be held accountable, for their actions. So now they have brought in a puppet, calling him speaker, a fake guy who is like someone who they are just holding him around like a puppet being moved around by his puppet masters, called Richard Kuhn, talking about he's a speaker. Waka has violated all of the laws in the country. Even the Supreme Court, he has disrespected the Supreme Court. Recently, we saw that people are being arrested, by the Liberia National Police. They are just being picked up from their homes. I think opposition leader people, belonging to the opposition political party or so. They are just being arrested, and now some of their family are worrying their whereabouts. NSA say that they are investigating them. Is there the means by which they have made the entire country, to be to the people are living in fear, the amount of deaths or unexplained and some extrajudicial killings going on in the country, and all Black Eye does is to be riding private jet, both internationally and domestically. Can you imagine that? When you were going for that program, my brother Prince, in Lofa country, do you know that Black Eye was brave to ride private jet that he
Sure.
rented again to go Lofa country? If
Wow.
so, when you were running campaign, you used to go to Lofa country with vehicle. I think, right? You used to pass, you used to pass through Sierra Leone, all that. But now that you are president, and according to you, your government is doing work on the road. Why can't you go and test the work that you are doing on the road? Why can't you go there in vehicle? But you have to go and rent a private jet to go there. Waka has also gotten himself entangled with a lot of BMs. Look at the other guy who they said in Ghana there, even supported them through Mama Kabirete and all of that. Those guys are people who have been, or they are on the international wire known to be criminals. I think he is making business with all kinds of people. I think so. Waka in Liberia, there everyone know, even opinion polls have been conducted. Everyone knows that Bwaka, the way in which the country is being governed by Bwaka and his gangs, everyone knows that the country is not going in the right direction. And security issue, national security issue in the country now, people are afraid for their lives because one day you see your friend, the next day your friend, you go and see your friend body lying on the street and think they said they were murdered overnight, extrajudicial killings, and the police, Gregory Coleman, he just parading. He focuses more on running behind opposition leaders and arresting people, arbitrarily picking up people and putting them in prison and all of that. So if you say that you are governing the country right, why would you be afraid for people to protest during the summer? That's another thing that is coming up. But I think you will bring it as we go
Sure,
further in
sure,
the
sure,
in the show. I don't want
definitely.
to jump it.
One
Yeah.
other issue that is really, really concerning, as you may be aware,
Hmm.
are we witness something very, very terrible. They try to keep it under the carpet, but it's something that we're going to keep talking about.
Yeah.
The government took over, and as usual, government will always look for opportunity for her people,
Yeah.
seeing how best she can send her people out there, to equip
Hmm.
them academically so that they can come back and contribute towards nation's development.
Exactly.
The first thing we saw was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, in collaboration with the President Office,
Yeah.
engaging in this particular arrangement. They said they had a program, a Nicotech program, where they were
Hmm.
sending Liberians abroad for studies. To our greater surprise, the Office of the Foreign Affairs
Hmm.
that project the image of our country that explain the policy of the government of the
Mm.
country internationally. We saw that particular uh, branch, or we saw that particular ministry engaging in a broad day thievery
Yeah,
with the approval of Joseph Newman Boyka.
exactly.
That incident
Hmm.
happening up to now, my brother, there is nobody, absolutely nobody, that is held accountable for
No
stealing from
prosecution.
the poor Liberian people. Nobody
No
is held.
prosecution. No one has been prosecuted.
What
And that's what
what
we are
do you
saying.
make of that? And as it relates, and this is coming from the international arm, the people who are
Yeah.
supposed to explain our policy internationally, the people
Hmm.
who are supposed to represent us internationally. They stole the money from the Liberian people, poverty striking people up to now. Not even a single person that is questioned or that is made to go to the police to answer question relative to that particular criminal act that was carried on by the presidency.
It is a
What is this?
shame, my brother. It is a shame that the government, and I saw that the first person I saw flagging that issue was Martin King Cody, right? The guy who also supported the Joseph Nima Boakai government, because we don't want to be the ones to be saying that before they say, oh yeah, but your Jowiya people. But you see, they are very supporters. Joseph Boakai supporters are the ones who are flagging these things. The guy who was education, let's say, assistant minister at Ministry of Information, he was even
Matthew,
suspended
yep.
and later dismissed for this issue. Nico Test scholarship. All these young men were saying that proper investigation should be done before this scholarship or what have you is endorsed by the Liberian government, and they did not listen to him. In fact, they went at the government. But those are some of the things that we are saying, Mr. Sherry. Waka has endorsed corruption openly. So when those kinds of things are coming in the country wherein it's to be investigated, especially when it is being handled by the face of our foreign service, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is involved in this kind of scandal, because that entire scholarship issue is a scandal. It meant to defraud Liberians, struggling Liberians. You, my brother, you and I, we are from Liberia. We know when young people are so hungry for the opportunity to come to America, to go to other developed countries in order to further their education. And if your own government will be using your desperation or your hunger to acquire education as a means of defrauding you or as a conduit to steal from you, it is very much disheartening. And then, since at least if those things happens, because it is already glaring now that even the Ministry of Information that was defending the thing through Jeremy Pia, the Minister of Information, the other time during a news conference, one of those regular news conferences they can have at Ministry of Information, he defended this scholarship, the Nicotech scholarship.
Sure.
So the entire government is involved with deception, because they think they are, the guys think that they are still in campaign, they still have that campaign move, because those were the same lies and deceptions that brought them to power. Propaganda, lies, and deception. That's what brought the Joseph Newman Boakai and the Unity Party led government to power. So they want to continue these things. That Nicotech scholarship is nothing but a fraud that was brought by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Liberian government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to defraud our young people. And my brother Prince, it is so unfortunate, that is not even the only instance. Just, I think, 1 or 2 days ago, I was monitoring one of those talk shows that they have there, and I heard that another scholarship or issue has come out again, but this time around in the office of the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. So then I'm thinking, I'm confused. Why these things happening right around the presidency? You know, yes, why are these things, happening? Just what I told you, it refreshes my mind when I told you that black guy and his black guy is connecting himself with criminals groups and all of that. Like people who have criminal records who are out of the country, because that Nicotech issue that came about, they said the lady is from the group are from Ghana, right? They are
Yeah.
from Ghana. They went through the foreign ministry to the foreign minister, and then they said they were giving us scholarship. You and I know the processes that are involved in order for you to get scholarship, especially when they're telling you that you have to go to the American embassy to get visa or student visa or all of that. You know, were these things well thought of? Were these things, or was there a proper channel through the Liberian government or the American embassy and all of that to make sure that citizens or people who are taking advantage of this or so-called opportunity or scholarship will not be defrauded by this company? All of these things were not investigated. So this is solely on the Liberian government, this Nicotech issue. And I guess some of because I saw some testimonials, I read some testimonials from some of those victims. Some of them have already paid their money.
Yeah.
They have already given their monies. And the funny part is, the lady who is in charge of the scholarship or so, who got connected with the foreign ministry in Liberia, is telling the children to pray. I think they have a chat room that she's telling them, according to her, she's motivating them to pray so that the U.S. government will give them, the American embassy will give them the visas and things. So all of these things were not, were plain. But then you came to tell the people that they should pay X amount of money, I think, and they will get the visa, the student visa to come America to study. You see, so it is criminal. And that is just another endorsement of criminal activities from the Baka government
And,
and through
and
Joseph Newman Baka himself.
sure. And the whole thing here that is so confusing and so difficult, when you have corruption coming from the seat of the presidency,
And
it
that's it.
becomes very difficult for people to fight it. It becomes
Sure.
very difficult for it to be exposed. It becomes
Exactly.
very difficult for people to even regret their actions. Because
Yes.
the same very people, like we said earlier,
The
who
man
are
is
supposed
involved, you
to
see.
protect, the
Hmm.
people.
Yes.
Joseph, can you imagine from the office of the presidency? One would have
President.
said
Yeah.
from the very beginning that, okay, well, maybe it is not from the office of the president, it's
Yeah.
somewhere else. So it becomes very difficult for you to
Yeah.
actually uncover it.
Hmm.
When it's coming from
Hmm.
somewhere else, you got to go
Yeah.
through many investigation. But
Hmm.
imagine from the office of the
Of the
president, from
president
the
and the
office of
first
the
lady
president,
too.
and it has
To
escalated to the first
the
lady
first
of
lady
the
office. Yeah. So
This is
so
a disgrace.
exactly. Yeah, is the first lady from according to what I heard, right? Because the guy who is in the office of the first lady, call on it. I think he says the media consultant or so call on
Yeah,
the show to
Mama
put out a
Holmes.
defense. Yeah, Holmes to put out a defense. About his, what the office did and all of that and he said that this is something that they in the pipeline, and the group on that side said that we were going to give them scholarship and Liberians were going to benefit from it and all of that. So it prompted them when someone who lives, I know a guy lives in Germany, wanted for his children to get on a scholarship. There were two, and then it's $2,000 because $2,000 each. They were told to pay $2,000 each because it's a partial scholarship. Logically in London, if you are going for maybe even if it is a partial scholarship, do you think that the amount would be like $2,000 or so, Mr. Sharif?
No way.
I doubt that. They were just a scam, to steal, from people again, and the first lady is also in the know of it because if she was not in the know of it, by now we should be seeing at least a statement from the office of the president distancing herself from this identical fraud or a fraudulent activity that have been carried out in her office. But we did not. We have not seen anything since the story came out. I think 3 days ago. We have not seen anything. So that is to tell you that just what her husband said, that people should indulge into corrupt activities, and whatever money they have, they should handle bless the
Bless the
people
people with
also.
it.
That is, yes, that is the advice also they are trying to. That is why they are putting into practice. Because it's a shame for you to see this kind of to hear these kind of things around the presidency. Yeah. So, Brother Sharif,
And the
Black
good
Eye,
thing is
nothing
here,
Black Eye is doing is surprising me, my brother. That's why I say I never had any expectation. Yeah, my expectations were not there because I know that the individual who is
mm,
coming to the presidency or who is said to have won the elections, because I still don't believe that he did win the elections, through a very transparent means. But
sure.
that would be a discussion for another day. But for if indeed I know the person, but based on their track records, that he cannot do anything for Liberia and Liberians. Yeah, so
You know,
that's it. It's not surprising to me.
with this issue, right? This is
Mm,
what I'm looking at. And until Liberians can stand up
mhm.
to this particular scheme government, to this government that have come to steal from the people. I always say this, sometimes people laugh.
Yeah.
From the Bible that we are reading or we are playing with,
Mm,
the devil has three missions.
yeah.
And according to what we understand from that Bible, the devil
Mm,
came to steal, to kill, and to destroy.
yes.
Why can't make us to understand from the very beginning that for him, he would dance if it caused him to dance with the devil in order to
That's
get the
another statement
presidency,
again. That's
he
another
will be
statement.
able to
Hmm.
ensure that he danced with the devil. Now,
That's another
everything that
statement.
we are seeing happening in Liberia is
Mm,
a complete fulfillment of dancing with the devil. Because
exactly.
no, for stealing, this one is no way that we can sugarcoat it. For
Hmm.
stealing to be seen in the office of the president
Mm.
without him taking any action, it is
Any
scary.
action. It's
Now,
very
this
scary.
is a very dangerous signal to our international partners because
Certainly.
if you, as a president, with the little that is there, if you cannot
Hmm.
manage it and make these people to account for it, can you
Mm.
manage the international people resources?
Not at all.
These are some of the
Not at
things that
all.
when
And
people
we are
say,
using the platform to call on the international community or whatever donors that is supporting the national budget in Liberia. In fact, the budget that was just passed also by those people calling themselves majority lawmakers is an illegal budget. It's an
definitely,
illegal budget because the presiding, who is the speaker, according to the ruling by the Supreme Court and constitutionally, is the current speaker, the man who should be speaker presiding over that budget or whatever process and thing processes, the Honorable Funati Kofa, is being removed, illegally, and they are not following the right processes. And they have went on to say they are passing a budget that is illegal. So we are calling on the international community, on our donors, not to support that budget because whatever fund that is put in that budget will only be meant to carry on the corrupt activities of the government of Joseph Nima Baka in Liberia. So our international partners should not support that budget. They should make sure that they be able to, even if they cannot go into, because maybe they might not want to, interfere, that much into our local politics, but there are actions and decisions they can take that will make the Liberian, let's say, that will make the Liberian government to understand that or they are against their actions because every country is governed by the constitution. If you have a government that is violating our laws, that is doing things, out of the way, I think there should be some level of action that should be taken against them.
sure,
Yeah.
definitely. And like you
Mhm.
said, we also want to call on the international community not to
Sure.
aid and abet the criminal attitude of the presidency.
Certainly.
Because all
Mhm.
of those who are involved in this kind of act, they are right around the presidency, the first lady
Yes.
of the Republic of Liberia. Can you imagine
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
face of the
Face
presidency, the
of
first
the
lady?
prayer.
This
Hmm.
woman is engaged. That's why when I'm listening to people saying, "Hey, she's not aware," the woman not aware, that is a blatant lie.
While
You
the
cannot
immediate, while the immediate past, our immediate past first lady is engaged into humanitarian activities, the
definitely.
office
In
of
fact,
this
hold on,
current
let me
first lady is stealing from Liberians.
from Liberia. This is a
Yeah.
scholarship that
Hmm.
was awarded to Liberians.
Yes. You see
You
that?
know, during the regime of His Excellency President Dr.
Mm,
George Manneh Weah. This is
mhm,
October 10, 2022.
mhm.
I will just read a few bars of it here. Uh, it said, Monrovia, October 10, 2022. The office of the First Lady, Madam Claire Marie Weah, has announced the selection of at least 20 talented young Liberians
Yes.
students for the
Mm.
third cohort of the joint government scholarship program between Liberia and that of France.
Yeah.
Here are selected students along with their respective ages. It's right here.
Mm.
You look right here, you will see it.
Mm.
So we saw that during
These
the
were
president,
humanitarian, yes,
exactly. So
humanitarian activities you were engaging. Hmm.
definitely, during the presidency of His Excellency President George Manneh Weah, we saw the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Claire Marie Weah, going out, searching for opportunities, going
Yes.
out to see how best she can be able to help Liberians. She was not sitting one place. She
While
was not,
on the contrary, now we have both the office of the presidency and that of the first lady has been desecrated by the people who are occupying that office
that's it.
by engaging in the criminal activities that
Into
will
criminal activities.
defraud the very citizens that it's true that they claim to come to rescue, to have come to rescue.
And
It is unfortunate, my brother.
that is the irony about this whole thing. Now,
Yeah.
but this is what I want to actually get from you. With all
Mm.
of this criminal act that is going on, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs took some
Mm.
$600,000 from poor
Yeah, for
people money,
NASCAR. Yeah.
from NASCAR,
Hmm.
poor people
Hmm.
money. We're contributing
Hmm.
a little money so that
Yeah.
when they
The
get old, when they retire,
pensioners
they
money.
get
Yeah.
their money back. That
Mm.
man was brave enough to take almost 600,000, and he stayed in
Yeah.
Joseph Nima Boyka Sako.
It's still there.
We
Hmm.
saw a man like Patrick Horner
Mm.
using almost 3,000 plus dollars for their generator gas.
Yeah, a generator. Hmm.
So my question to you is, with all of these kind of criminal attitude that is going around, especially the seat of the presidency, what will you advise Liberians to do with this kind of hardcore criminality? In fact, roadness. One of my men, he get very saying, man, let me anything raw. Let's say roadness. Yeah. I mean, dynasty now until yeah. So what do
Yeah.
you advise Liberians to do in this case?
So you see, my brother Prince or Mr. Sherry. I think someone made a parable that when it reached a certain point, the citizens themselves will rise up. Sometimes it's not good for you to cry more than I don't know, they say bereave or something like that, right?
Yeah, to
But
bereave.
they are feeling the pain of the decisions that some of them made because I am still of the conviction that it was not that you know the population that we have in Liberia, and you know the amount of people that still supported President Weah and still support him, right? It was just because of some other discrepancy and all of that occur, which we know of. But being that our political leader is a peaceful man, he decided to let go, for the sake of peace in the country, And he also made a very great decision because this old man who has claimed to be in government for 40 something years, he has all the experience and all of that. If he had not been given the chance to come and manifest that so-called experience that he claimed to have, you know, Liberian who are still some Liberian who are still felt that he has something to offer. But at least now they know that he has nothing to offer. He can't carry the country anywhere. His predecessor, President George Manneh Weah, was the one who had the country on the right trajectory to development and prosperity. So now, what I want for Liberians to do, there are civil society organizations, of which you saw most of them, during the past regime. They were having press conferences, they were talking about issues in the country and all of that because President George Manneh Weah, in your wisdom, pass, make sure that the legislature and sign a bill of free speech, so people could speak, air their views and all of that on the public radios as it relates to the government performance. Where are those civil society groupings today with all of the rampant corruption, the stealings and embezzlement, the extrajudicial killings that are going on in the country, the violation of our laws in the country, where are those civil society organizations? We are calling on them to be able to use the same medium, the same platforms that they used before to call or rather their base in order to have peaceful protestation, to have gatherings, to release petitions to their national legislature as it relates to the illegal and unconstitutional removal of a sitting speaker. These are all things that requires citizens' action, and we are calling on the citizens in Liberia to rise up to the occasion in order to put the Joseph Newman Barker government's feet to the fire. This government, because people will say that you have 5 years to go, you are just exhausted 1 year, and you are already seeing the state of affairs of the country. Instead of the country progressing, the country is retrogressing under Joseph Newman Barker by the complete disrespect for the rule of law. Mr. Sharif, there is no country that can be successful, that will be developmental, or will achieve all of the development initiative or what have you if you have a sitting president that does not respect the laws. Recently, there was or three guys, let's say three individuals from the opposition that were picked up by I think the anti-robbery unit also from the Liberian National Police. These guys are now in the habit of concocting lies against opposition figures in an effort to silence them, arrest them, take them to places, intimidate them. You saw that they had even the NSA guys who torture people through some kind of I don't know what kind of snakes or so they have in those cells and things in order for those people to lie on prominent individuals and all of that. All of these things are going on in the country, and you have citizens and people sitting and not speaking up. It makes the government to think that they are the law unto themselves. So we are calling on the civil society groupings in Liberia, those pressure groups also in the country, to rise up and make sure that they have peaceful gathering and send a message to the Joseph Newman Barker led government that he should respect the rule of law, and he should make sure to prosecute some of his ministers or cabinet ministers or so that are involved in the corruption or corrupt practices, even though he has already officially endorsed these actions. These actions that has the propensity to make our country to remain underdeveloped or to retrogress. So our call is for civil society organizations to rise up, because usually you will look at people who are perceived to be maybe neutral, and that is the civil society groups. That's why you have the National Civil Society organization in the country with all those civil society groupings under them. They need to speak on human rights abuses. I saw a video. I don't know if it's from or Douala or St. Paul Bridge or so. I saw a guy. I don't know if he's an American guy or so, but I saw a police officer fighting this guy. Because if you go to maybe institute an arrest, I think you should be able to read the Miranda rights or what have you, or as per the law to the person. But these are things that just speak to the fact that the country is a lawless country under Joseph Nima Barker. If you say that, I don't know, someone was smoking on the street or so, you know, if the president is smoking on the street and you have maybe a policy or so, or you said it's a law that the president shouldn't smoke in the street and thing, you should be able to engage a person and say that based on the fact that you have done this is your Miranda rights or so, we got to take you to the station. But you don't have to be fighting the man, in the street. I'm talking about the action of the police officer. And that
Sure.
thing surfaced on the social media against and you are talking about investors. coming into the country. Investor cannot come into the country because you are already, if you are not killing the Boulevard Palace or manager, then the next day you will be attacking another citizen for another country, who have come to maybe invest in the country or so, or do a business in the country. So these are all lawless, activities or actions of the government that can scare away investors, and then they will be blaming the opposition, saying that the opposition is, let's say, making the country fearful or what have you. If you do not do these lawless things, will we talk about it? We will not talk about them if you do not do them.
But in fact,
So
what is
let the
even
citizen.
happening? What is happening, Bill?
Mm,
The actions of this government is sufficient enough to scare away investors. I was
exactly.
looking at the U.S. how you call commerce report on Liberia. I was
Yeah.
looking at the report on Liberia. Let me just go there here. I want to get the exact stuff here. I want to get the. I'm sorry, I want to get the exact stuff. Okay, the 2024 Investment Climate Report on Liberia
Mm,
from the Bureau of Business and Economic Affairs of the United States of America.
yeah.
When you look at that report, you will cry for Liberia as a nation
Mm,
because everything they said in that report is what is happening. They talk about how people who are close to the power that be, or people who have
mm,
some proximity to the power that be, they are using their influence or using their proximity to be able to extort money from people who wants to invest in the country. You are
uh-huh.
aware of the recent story, what happened at one of the local hotel, where
Mm,
the police, Gregory Coleman, were able to send police officer to some investors that came to some guys who came,
yeah.
for prospect, where they came, to come and do a prospect
Oh,
to come and invest. He
okay.
sent police to these guys to harass them, took their money from them, carried them to the police station. These
Yes.
things were all
And
on air. It
incriminate
was
them. And
open.
incriminate them.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were
That is
incriminated.
that is that is the MO of Greco Coma. That is the
And,
modus operandi of Greco Coma. That's how he
and
does.
look at this, and look at this recent one with this another investor with the Boulevard Palace, like you said, the Boulevard Palace
Yes.
boss.
Mm-hmm.
This is somebody, according to the information which is reliable, had a
Mm-hmm.
video in his possession of
Yes.
these criminals.
Yes.
According to the information, Thomas
Specifically, yeah.
Fowler,
Mm-hmm.
how you call Prince Moy,
Prince
and that of
Mori. Those are the budget
Jeremiah Kung,
manipulators. Those are the budget manipulators.
he
Those
had a
guys are
video
like
with him.
veteran lawmakers. They have been in our house. They have been managing the budget and thing. So then that's why you see them. Those are the people that the executive is using. Those two. Those are that's a Mo. What his name? Prince Moy and that of Thomas Fire. Those are the people that the executive is using in our house in order to have control over the budget because they know how to finger the budget, in a
Mhm,
Liberian term.
sure.
When the speaker appeared on one of those platforms, he made a revelation, a very staggering revelation about how the budget is taken to room 1026
Hmm.
at Boulevard Paris, where people manipulate the budget. They insert figures in the budget for their own personal selfish aggrandizement. And those people are Jeremiah Kuhn, Prince Kemu Moy, and that of Thomas Father. Those guys are the ones, they are the big guys who knows how to, when it comes to budget manipulations in that house. Those are the guys
After
who know
that
that. So,
revelation, guess what?
mhm,
After the
mhm,
revelation, it even take 3 months. The
yeah,
Boulevard Palace manager died
yes,
mysteriously. They're
yes.
telling us that the man take custody solar everybody
He
else.
drank,
I
yeah,
want
he
people
drank
understand.
caustic soda.
These
Yeah.
guys understand who they are
No, they
dealing with.
take us to be fools. They take us to be fools. Okay, so now, if you are claiming, if that man died under that kind of mysterious circumstances, right? What is the government waiting for now? To have conducted an autopsy or so that we can know what actually led to the man's death. Because we know that even for now, I'm not even trusting the government to conduct the process. I think
Mm-mm.
there should be some forensic or investigation, like a pathologist also sent out of the country to come, and do that autopsy so that we can know. Because, the amount of death related cases, in the country is just soaring by the day.
But
People are
my
just
brother,
dying, on the
before you
streets.
go ahead, that
Yeah.
whole story, it doesn't make sense. Because if
No.
somebody drinks custody, right, you will
Hmm.
see that, yeah, will peel. That's the first thing,
Yeah.
because when you put it in
Hmm.
your mouth, at
Yeah.
least to
They're
some
gonna waste.
extent, it
Mm.
will waste. So
But it was
you
looking. It
will
was
burn.
forcibly
It was
placed in
only in
his
his
mouth.
mouth. So people think we
Mm.
foolish. Okay, let's
Yes.
even agree that when he drank the Costa Solar,
Mm.
he decided where he would keep everything in his mouth. The
Yeah.
battle, where
Mm.
is the battle?
Yeah. Where is the
Where is
bottle?
the continuum
There
that
must be some
they actually thank you
fingerprints
very
on that
much.
container that will speak to if it was the deceased own DNA on a fingerprint that was
Thank you.
holding that bottle to have placed it in his mouth and consume the caustic soda or whatever he drank.
That's it. Even at
Yeah.
that, you will see
Mm.
they will have some burnt. I know what cause I used to face
Yeah.
soap, right?
Caustic and all of
They
that.
used to call it those days. How you call it? Rainbow soap.
Yeah.
The
Mm.
blue soap, rainbow soap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know what coste is. I know how
Yeah.
terrible coste is. Maybe it's a boy
Mm.
will not know, but coste
Yeah.
is something that is very corrosive.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
very
Yeah.
terrible.
Corrosive. Yeah. It's corrosive. Yeah.
Very
Mm.
corrosive.
Yeah.
For you to tell me that they may take coste, put it in your mouth, then you put it in your body and sit down for long and drink. After you finish
Yeah.
drinking, look,
Then he
they
die.
kill him. They killed that man. They forced that man.
Yes.
They open his mouth, take that
Yeah.
custard after they finish doing their whatever, and take the
Yeah.
custard and put it in his mouth. No.
Exactly.
Even water, when
Mm-hmm.
we are drinking water, assuming that you drinking water, out of some kind of
It
anxiety.
spills. It spills out. Yeah. It
Yeah,
spills
it's
out.
still.
Mm-hmm. It spills out. Yeah.
You will see everything out of here, on the side of your lips.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it will spill on you. But
Yeah.
for them to look at us and tell us that they may drink content, look, this government,
That's a man.
is very terrible, and that's the reason
Very
why we are
terrible
calling
government.
on our
Very
international partners.
terrible government. Yeah.
Their behavior alone
There are lots and lots
is
of
something.
national
Yeah,
security issues in the country. Security in that country now, opposition lives are not safe, especially members
and,
of the major opposition. Their lives are not safe. Their
and
lives
let
are
me
being
just say
threatened
this.
by the government.
Sure, and let me just say this. There are two sites that I know. There are some information when I give, but on the cell phones we give it. There are two
Yeah.
sites that the NSA is having
Mm.
in Bomi and in Bapulu.
Yeah, rapidly. Hmm.
A detention site
Yeah.
where usually they carry people and they extract information from you, or when they want to
Yeah.
keep it on Rovia or from the public eyes.
Mm.
That particular area was closed in 2013, 2014. That place
Okay.
was closed by the
Mm.
international community at the time. How you call this? Some kind of international human rights organization and other people. They conducted an investigation. In fact, what they were really looking at in 2003 when they conducted that report, the security sector people conducted that report. They were
Mm.
looking at the appalling condition of the prisons in Liberia.
Yeah.
So it was where they discovered that the NSA was having some other area, out of Monrovia, that usually they
Mm.
carry high profile detainees. They
Yeah.
carry them there.
Mm.
During Taylor time, those areas they were used. So when the
Mm.
area was discovered, they asked that that place be closed, that they close that place down. So
Okay.
2014, 2013, 2014, that place was completely closed down. They closed that place down.
So
The
those are
government,
torture camps.
yeah, torture camp. So the government was not
Mm.
using it again. Government was not using
Mm.
it.
So you have been
But
reactivated.
the information that we have gathered, very
Mm.
credible information from our inside sources, those
Mm.
areas have been reactivated. And two
Mm.
of the guys who were taken from Monrovia,
Yeah.
under a dubious means,
Mm.
they are there at those
Wow.
particular areas in Bomi and in Bapolu. They are there. That is a torture camp.
Mm.
I put the information is on my page.
And
I put it out.
their families are even worried about them.
Imagine if this government can tell the code that will not produce people. Can you imagine?
Yes.
The
Okay. So
code
that is
is
one of
asking the
the
government to produce the people.
disrespect I told you about. That is one of the disrespect to the laws, to the high code and all of that I told you about. I just mentioned. The black guys, government have disrespected and violated all of the laws because the lawyers representing those three guys file
Mm,
in or something they call in the legal field called the habeas corpus or something like that, right? The habeas
yeah.
corpus, and that identical document with filed by a lawyer, representing a client will let's say demand the living body of that person, right? Maybe they have
Sure.
been taken maybe arbitrarily or so or illegally, by the police or so. So they are requesting the living body of the people. So the CDC chairman, I think, and the lawyer He collaborated with a lawyer of these three guys, and they have filed in that petition or so before the court. And the presiding judge, I think, requested that the government produce the living body of the three guys, and they have deliberately refused to do so. So how do you turn that? It's a disrespect to the law. It's a violation of the human rights principles or the principles of human rights, or as it relates to free movement or freedom of speech or what have you. And that's what the Joseph Nima Boakai is doing. They were even involved with some terroristic, activities. When you talk about the guy who came from Guinea and all of that, and we had armed men coming in the country to get this guy. There was some commotion or what have you at the airport, and all of that. All of these things are happening in the country because our national security cannot be trusted. You put a Greco-Coman, a man at Greco-Coman who has a history of being with, let's say, one of those groups, the rebel groups. I know it's the ATU, the anti-terror unit, while doing child state time
With the
and all of
SOT.
that.
Yeah.
So
SOT.
this man now is just executing whatever instruction that is given by Baka and his cronies, to arrest people arbitrarily. We are hearing that some opposition or key opposition figure, even lawmakers and all, are being signaled out to be arrested and detained until after the sooner. Why are you carrying on all of these kinds of unconstitutional, or illegal activities in the country? Do you want to plunge the country into chaos or what? Because for us, we know that Black Guy has not really, like Black Guy have a history. He served in a junta before, right? The Dole's government, he served in there. So it
PRC
means
government.
that, yes, the PRC. So it means that Black Guy only mentality is, suspending the Constitution, because it almost like Black has suspended the Constitution. Because if through the Constitution they are telling you that you have to, if the court is requesting that you bring forth three persons that is in your custody or in police custody, bring them before the court, and you refuse. Similar thing occurred when that guy ran on asylum, or so he was seeking asylum in Liberia. When the guy came, I think he had a legal counsel. I think the former chief justice, or something, not chief justice, but one of the associate justices then,
Former Associate Justice Cabinet.
Kabina Janet. He was
Sure.
representing that guy. The guy came, ran away. You and I, no, Mr. Sherry, you are in this country. When you leave your country for any political reason or so, and you run to maybe America and you want to seek asylum and all of that, the American government will grant you when you exhaust all of the processes and all of that, right? So now they will not just take you and send you back to the country that you're coming from without exhausting any legal process, and that was what was done. This guy was placed in at the Moreira Center prison, and then Gregor Como went there in the morning about, I don't know, 1 or 5 or 4 a.m. or so, according to the story, and collected this guy, threw him in a pickup bag, and took him to the border and turned him over to Guinean authority. The next day, what did we see? We saw Black Eye receiving vehicles, I think 5 or 10 vehicles from the Guinean authority. So what are you telling me? Is it that he had exchanged a human being for vehicles?
Hmm.
Is that what he has done? So he did not also hear about the way in which that individual rights were violated, his human rights. It was violated, and it was the legal processes were not exhausted to have turned him over to the Guinean authority. And you have a junta or a rebel government in Guinea, and it is dangerous for that man to go. What if he had died now? And the court requested, after his lawyers went to the court, the court again requested the living body of the man, two happier couples. The man was not produced again. So you see, so those are two instances, and, major instances wherein you are seeing the Baka government through the Attorney General or what have openly disrespected the court. So these things are happening on the Baka. So I think that Baka Liberia, in Baka Liberia now, you don't have the rule of law. The
The rule of
constitution has
law.
been
You don't have it.
suspended.
Sure.
No, you
Sure.
don't have it.
You don't have it.
The
You are right
constitution
because
has been
from
been suspended.
sure, like you said from the very
Mhm.
beginning, we've seen how this man has consistently disrespected the court. So justice system is no longer, seen in Liberia respected.
Yeah.
When
Hmm.
he took over as president of the Republic of Liberia, the
Yeah.
first thing that he went to that was illegal was to remove people from tenure position. The court
Exactly.
came in and stopping and said, look, you cannot do this. Liberia is not a gangster nation. We
Yeah.
have
That you
laws,
just get up and just do all.
we have order. You just
Sure.
get up and do anything. So what you
Hmm.
have to do is that these people will have to be reinstated through the right.
Reinstated.
He did not even listen to the court.
He did not listen.
He did not
And
listen.
he's a old man that does not even listen to anything,
No,
you
he does
know,
not
that the
listen.
court says, He just carry on, and do whatever he wishes, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever he thinks, whatever he wants to do, this man is a living dictator. The only thing
Yeah,
that we
he's
are
a dictator.
grateful
He's
for
a
is that this
tyrant. He's a
man
tyrant.
definitely is that this
Yeah.
man probably, his health is not too good in health, and his age also have added. But if this man
Yeah.
was going to be in his prime, maybe
No.
40 and
Yeah.
50s, and
He
had the
would have done more than what he's
opportunity,
doing.
oh no, that
And
man was
then
going
he will even deliberately amended the constitution to
sure.
give him maybe I don't know how many terms.
Sure,
Yes,
definitely would have done that. But my brother,
exactly.
what do you make of this particular press conference recently that the police had, where relating to the fire incident? You and I, we are here. You know that usually, when it comes to this kind of fire incident, it is the fire chief along with his
Hmm.
team of investigators. They
Yeah.
brief the public on the daily basis or whatever they're supposed to. They are the ones that are doing the briefing. Though the
Hmm.
police will be there as backup, and X, Y, Z, and Z. But
Yeah.
in their case in Liberia, we saw a Gregor Como, a notorious man who is a serious
Hmm.
joker.
Yeah.
That in fact,
And
a
a
serious
former
time
rebel
can
too.
even do better
Hmm.
than what he did down there. He said he called John security meeting, and what do you make of that statement coming from how you called or that press conference that they had, where the fire chief spoke for less than 2 minutes, and he went to say that.
Yeah, so as it relates to that investigation, that's why you saw I trash the entire investigation. I don't even want to listen to what Greco Como was saying. Because professionally, that entire report or what have you that he read there is very much fraud. Yeah, because uh first of all, the president and had already prejudiced the case, on the basis that he is already someone who is against the certain opposition figures and all of that. And he even played a major role in the entire fight that was going on. And he's still playing a major role in the entire fight that is going on at the Capitol. You know, yeah. So when he came at the scene of the incident that morning, he made a statement that whoever is responsible or so, or let's say it was hooligans that put the Capitol building on fire. The sitting president, when you got at the scene, you did not ask that an investigation be commissioned through the fire service or assisted by the police or what have you. But the first word that you said was that this place is not a place for hooligans. And it was hooligans, in fact, you are insinuating, that put the place on fire. So that making it to appear that the fire incident was caused by an arson, attack. So now the police director, who himself is a party or let's say a politician, in fact, because that's how he is now. He's not a professional. He's not wearing any professional jacket, now. So he's a party police person. Yes, from the Unity Party now. So the investigation can be categorized that it's a partisan policing kind of investigation that was conducted because why? That investigation conducted by Patrick Sudu wants to implicate, you know, people who are perceived to be opposition or people who maybe like the former, the speaker, Fanatic Kofa, who they are fighting to remove, and some of the strong men are behind because you saw that immediately when the president made that statement about the issue being an arson attack, at the Capitol building, They invited who? Representative Frank Safoko from District Number 9, Mosrado County. That was the first person they invited. The police officer also, what's his name? Gregor Kumo also went after some other key figure. And all these people you are inviting, they are all from the opposition. So what does that tell you? It only tell you that they are trying to crack down on freedom of speech because these people have made some statements also, against the government. So they are only trying to implicate these people into this fire incident, of which they refer to as an arson attack without even an investigation. So the entire issue was already prejudiced before the investigation came up. So that investigation, it is not an investigation that is reliable. It is not reliable. That entire investigation is misleading. And for me, I cannot accept that because we have gone and read on, some the experts who investigate fire incidents or so, and we know they have informed us through our readings that when a fire incident occurs, the fire service boss along with some of let's say his people, will conduct an investigation who are expert in that field and come up with a report. And a report that is void of any kind of political manipulations or influence. But I don't think maybe you will expect the RG to bring out any kind of reliable, investigative report because the president had already said that it was an arson attack. So whatever documentation or whatever investigation that they might have conducted, they were just trying to channel it in line with what the president have already said because they cannot make the public to think that the president was lying about what he said. So it's just all of those things that's the video. All of
Yeah,
those
so let
things
me
are
just play
just
this
part of
video
it.
for
Mhm.
our
Yeah, so
audience.
let's just listen to it.
Yeah, let's just listening to it. Listening to Mr. Boyka.
People who, when they get angry, you have problem. We have the rule of law. We have every way in this place to be able to listen to you. But we're not going to accept this. And we're asking the Minister of Justice, all of the security apparatus, including our friends, to investigate this letter. People who are culprit, who will deal with them, and will set the tune for all other people who, when they get angry, they burn down the police, they destroy this. We're not going to allow this. So we just want to say to console the members of the first family in this government that we're in sympathy with them, but this destruction we have to stop. And we're not going to allow this to happen in this country. But people who have problems, we have the way to remedy all the issues in this country. So that's all I have to tell you. I'm happy that you are here. You will look at yourself, but we're not going to settle for this. This is not a place for hooligans. This is a place for responsible people who are here to serve the Liberian people. This country is poor, and I don't care what they do. We'll build this country for the interest of future generations. Thank you.
His Excellency President.
So you listening to this president already
Right
telling
there,
the
the
world,
president already prejudiced the case.
yeah,
Yes.
that people, they are hooligans. They are the one that
Mhm.
burned this place.
So
Blah blah blah.
yeah,
Instead of
so Mr. Sharif, all of what the president said was like, as if he knew, maybe he know the person who did the act. Like he perceived someone who did the act, and and he know the person, and he was just trying to put up a charade, a charade over there talking about prosecuting people or what have you. Because once you came on the scene and you did not ask the people to commission an investigation, but rather you said that whoever did this, I know will be dealt with, or so it means that you know that someone did it. So I think you should also be a person of interest to the police investigation if Liberia was a serious country. Yeah. So on that incident, on that fire incident or so at the Capitol, the police know very well what occurred because Gregor Como also told us that when that issue was going on at the Capitol building there, he told us that the police were in charge of the entire facility. They were providing security there. So if indeed it is an arson attack, as alleged or said by the president, uh, then where did the arsonist came from to have penetrated the security at the Capitol building that was being provided by the LMP and have gone to put the building on fire, the John
And
Chamber on fire or so? Yeah, so. Mhm,
and the thing is, usually when such an incident happens,
mhm.
police will take over the area. Once police take over the area, there are daily incident, how you call report. Like
Yes.
I'll give you an example, right? Here, even those of us that are doing our lay, one or two lay, security work
Mhm,
around there, before
mhm.
you even take over from the next man,
Yeah.
there are incidents report that are given
Report
to
that
you.
you will give.
An
Yes.
hourly
Sure.
incident report that is given to you. You
Exactly.
have to read it.
Mhm,
You that is taking over from this other officer have to read that incident
mhm,
report,
mhm,
know what is
mhm.
going on. If there is any question, you ask the one who you taking over from, say, why
Yeah.
this like this, why
Briefing.
this like
That's
this.
a
So
briefing. Yeah.
every day there are incident report from one
Mhm,
officer to another officer that if there are 3 shifts you guys run, all of the shifts will produce the incident report. You all will come read it, you will sign it, the person who you're taking over from will sign it, and then they put it
mhm,
down. So our question is, what is the incident report from either the police or from the how you call or yeah, from the
mhm.
police or that of the security people who were at the building? Where is the
Gregory should
incident
produce
report?
that. So Gregory
There
and
is no
folks need
incident
to
report.
produce that. They
So
need
Greg,
to produce that
no, this whole thing
because,
was planned by
excuse me.
Gregory Como, Joseph Numa Boyka, and his people. They
Yes,
planned it.
it was a plan, and it is a plan to go after, like I said earlier, key opposition figure who they think are maybe standing with the speaker or so, or even implicate the speaker himself in order to weaken him, in this fight for the speakership. Because he has already told you that being someone who respects the rule of law and being a legal luminary as he is, Honorable J. Fonati Kofa, serving as the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, he will not bow down to any form of unlawful or unconstitutional removal. He has made that clear on several occasions. So the only way that the government wants to get to him, and through chicaneries like they are using, or some kind of shenanigan that they are using the rule of law or what to bypass and get him, it is true orchestrating these kind of evil plans, in order to implicate him and his strong guys. And that is just what's going on right now. So any
Sure.
sound person will sit back and they will read between the lines, and they will ask themselves those kind of questions, to see that, to know that yes, indeed, it is these things are being orchestrated by the government to get at opposition figure. Yes, and that
I
is
want
it.
to play this, and I want to hear from you on this. We saw an information coming from the Ministry of Finance relative to this particular Bill McGay Jones, even though we skip over it. But I want
Yeah,
to play
yeah,
2 minutes video here for people to listen to this guy record of somebody who was there explaining to the Liberian people of how notorious this particular figure is. So
mhm.
play this, and I want for our people to listen. I want to play this. Let me play this and let our people listen
like
here.
the product, the quotation, the procurement plan, and the vendor submission, including all of his compliance documents to send to PPCC for approval because of the method that we use, which is the single source. So he when I took the documents, he refused to sign
He's talking about Eric. Is
on
this person
grounds
is
that
talking about Bill McGay Jones?
I
Mhm,
should say whether
mhm.
something is on it, why it's on it for him. So I
Oh,
said, no, this
So
is
hold on
not.
one minute. No, hold on. Eric, take your
mhm.
time now because I know it's your first time.
Yeah. So Eric, this is the guy called Eric who was fired from the Ministry of Finance
Yeah,
after
by
this.
Mange Jones. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that. I
Bill
think I know
McGay
that
Jones.
story. Mm,
It's fine. So I just want to bring the audience up to speed. So this
mm.
particular guy was working at the Ministry of Finance, and at the end of the day, there was a kind of contract that the earlier has signed with a company to be able to produce the budget. a software
Okay.
to produce the budget. So when the government took over, the government of Joseph Newman Boyka took over, he took the document that they had already agreed upon and everything was okay to Bill McGay Jones for him to sign it. Once the document got to Bill McGay Jones said, "My man, look, the money here, you got to escalate the money, you got to carry up." So we ourselves, we prepare
Wow.
our thing. So the man said, "Well, gee, we already finished signing a long time. We are government." The man said, "I say, carry it back and do what I'm telling you to do." He said, "Gee, and I want to do it." So he was sacked. So this
Wow.
guy is just explaining how, Bill McGay Jones intimidated him and told him to
Because he
escalate
wanted
the
kickbacks. He
amount.
wanted
Yeah,
kickbacks.
to inflate the amount because he wanted kickback. So you're just listening. It's about 2 minutes, 58 seconds. Let's just listen so we can get it clear. And then Bill will be able to, deliberate on this.
I just put up the quotation, the procurement plan, and the vendor submission, including all of his compliance documents, to send to PPCC for approval because of the method that we use, which is the single source. So he when I took the documents, he refused to sign on grounds that I should say whether something is on it, why it's on it for him. So I said, no, this
No, hold on one minute. No, hold on. Eric, take your time now because I know it's your first time on radio. You have to make the people understand. This document, who prepared this document?
It was prepared by me.
Okay. Is that your job to prepare this document?
Yes.
And after you prepare the document, you should take it to the minister, the deputy minister, correct?
His signature, yes.
And then you took it to him. Then what did he say?
He tried to ask me, those kind of questions, whether there was something on it, whether we have a court on it, and we said no. So he asked me to increase the figure to 240,000. So my question to him was, what would be the justification for the 200,000? So I tried to beat him up to speed and telling him about the past history, how we even got to the 180,000. It was because of the changing of the budget year to calendar year. So he said it was an order and I should change the documents to 240,000.
So let's pause you there because the guys have questions for you on that. It's very important that you're making some grave allegation here on you say his name is Bill McGill.
Honorable Bill McGill Jones.
Bill McGill Jones. And folks, let's ask some questions.
Okay, so I just want to stop this here. I want to stop this here. This identical Bill McGay Jones man again has surfaced. This time around, this criminal
awarding a contract of conflict of interest.
award a contract to a company that he even helped to establish, that's also a man in there. He helped to establish. He did not only stop there. What is even more scary, for this guy to get a letterhead from the United States Embassy with signature as a means, of almost like a performance review of that particular company or a performance recommendation, giving it to the company and say, yeah, I see the company here, the American Embassy, say, happy with the people. The people now do things. Only for Front Page Africa to go and do the investigation to find out that the document that was submitted with the United States of America letterhead and everything, it was fake. The communication was completely fake. Now, my brother just left. I don't know, but he might come back. Now, this is just to tell you, fellow Liberians, how these guys are brave in their criminality. Like I said to you the last time, look, if there is anybody that is very brave in using the paper to steal from the Liberian people, it is the Unity Party. One thing I will give these guys credit for, they know how to use the paper to steal from us. That's what they did yesterday. But because yesterday there were not many people who are very critical like we are now, people are looking at it. So they used to use procurement process to steal, and different things to steal. But now the people eyes are open. So Bill McGay Jones went collected a document and say, yeah, that U.S. embassy so that it can be given. Imagine these guys, they idiot, then spending 300,000+ I get to pin building.
And to paint the building.
$328,000 to pin building. So to make it look like, yeah, they think, the company, they think that good thing, he took
Yeah.
U.S. Embassy letterhead and added to it. My brother, what says you with this
And
particular issue?
you know that there will be some repercussions, for that criminal activity of which they have to go and make a document, through a fraudulent means and put the United States Embassy's logo on it just to be awarded a contract. Bill McGee Jones is aware of everything, that have been done because, like you said,
Like Atinubu
he
Weka is
he
aware of what
was
happened in
he
your office.
if I he has a share in that company. Yes, when you look at it, he has a share in that company. That company was established by he and his guys. That's why you see his childhood friends that both of them went to school and all of that, making it a conflict of interest. When I saw him on the platform trying to defend and deny the allegations about him knowing the individuals and all of that, I knew very well that this was what we were going to, you know. So these guys are they know, they've been having these kinds of chicaneries and crooked means of defrauding the government of Liberia of funds. Bill McGee Jones also worked in the previous regime, right? I mean, the regime of former President Salib also, yeah. So these guys know how they can steal taxpayer
Manipulate.
money and
Sure.
engage in the corrupt activities. So there is something that you already had knowledge about. They know that through procurement processes, sometimes the person might not even, the individual might not even give the relevant documents that is required in order to be awarded the contract. But Bill McGee Jones went to, and told those people to go and bring those kinds of documents that are not authentic, so that when they are awarding the contract, they will have a defense. But thank God that their criminal activities were unearthed, and it had brought another shame to the Joseph Barker government. But all boils down to the fact that Barker told them to design these kind of means to steal taxpayer money, and that was, let's say, a message or a mandate that he gave them. So they are only, implementing what he had told them to do. So it is not a strange thing again, and you will see that. I don't know, but I don't think anything going to come out of this because it was just a few days ago, a week or so, that this gentleman was on a local platform and explaining how this painting contract, was awarded to the company in question, of which he has a share in that company, which is a conflict of interest, you know, working against the interests of the Liberian people to defraud the Liberian government of this huge amount of money, of which they are saying that they want to pin a building with that kind of money, and they have even inflated the figure
Yeah.
as was let's say disclosed by the former procurement person or so that we just listened to in this recording. So he has this guy has exposed Bill McGee Jones, because Bill McGee Jones and other guys, these were the things for which they were so desperate to come to power. All the lies, the propaganda that they told about the Weah government, it was only meant for them to return to power, and continue their stealing. Because what they have been doing before, they have been in government before, they know how they have been stealing and all of that. So they have only come to continue to steal, engage into corrupt practices, and embezzling taxpayers' money and all of that. So I guess we are calling. We know that maybe Wakai government ain't gonna do anything about maybe taking the right action, because There are already evidence to prove that, this man awarded a contract to someone, to a company that he has a share in, and all of that. The records are there.
Sure.
But the Baka's government, I do not have any faith in them that he will take the necessary action against Bill McGee Jones, you know, from the finance ministry there. Because there are lots of activities, clandestine activities that goes on in the Liberian government on a daily basis. Only a few, like this one, have been on earth. But those guys are still on an industrial skills. They are looting the country because some of them, if I left 1 year, they have mortgages to pay a year. And when Liberia there to work, in order for them to pay their mortgages here. So they are stealing the country money. And Joseph Barker have reinforced, those actions by his utterances of endorsing openly corrupt practices in the country, where he encouraged his officials in the country to steal and
And
steal from the Liberian people.
this thing remind me of the yellow machine. When these
Yeah,
people came initially, they said the yellow machine cost 80, $1 million. I think
yeah,
80
80
million
million.
dollars or so.
And he was an
Only for
investor
us
or
to
something. Yeah,
continue, to expose them from 80, it came down all the way to 20 something,
yeah.
million
Mm-hmm.
dollars. So,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the Unity Party, these guys are notoriously noted for their criminal acts.
Yes.
They will use the PPCC process. They will use all kind of process to steal money from the Liberian people.
I said that's their MO, right? That is their
That's it.
modus
That's
operandi.
definitely
That's why
it.
they came to power with. So all those things they were doing, talking about coming to rescue the Liberian people and all of that, were all deception, my brother. They were only coming to enrich themselves, to steal from the Liberian people and take the country backward instead of moving it forward. During the regime of former President Weah, there were lots of projects that were ongoing. When this government, even in the 1 year that you have clocked, that's why we are saying that the sonar measures, nothing going to be said by Joseph Barker, because this government have done nothing. The Joseph Barker led government in 1 year have done nothing. They were there completing some of the projects that we have already funded, in his government. And it was even embarrassing to them, because wherever he going to commission or what have you, or open any kind of project or what have you, he have the Weah mark on it, because it is President Weah, during President Weah time, that he initiated these projects, and it was almost some of them were even finalized, at the concluding stages, before he left, power. So Joseph Barker and his bunch of gangs of thieves have nothing to show us. So whatever sonar message he's going to be telling us about, we expect him to be telling us the state of affairs of the country. And we want to see in that sonar message that people are being killed on the streets. There are lots of killing going on in the street. The country is not safe and all of that. Those are the things that we should be saying. That he's traveling, in private jets, going Ghana for friend wedding and things, using Liberia taxpayer data just to go travel to his friend daughter's wedding in Ghana, come back again, and then go Lofa County, and, on private jet and all the kinds of things. Wasteful spending the Liberian taxpayer dollars, lavishing it and all of that. He and his cronies or surrogates. So these are things that, this is why you see we asking Liberian people to stand up, because people like you now, if you were not on a platform and making your contribution to make sure that the state of affairs in our country, is stable or so, you are not going to, we are not going to hear some of these things. People are not going to have access to some of these informations that you are providing here, like the yellow machine issue. If people like you have not flagged that out on your platform, that is widely listened to, or widely monitored, how were people going to know that this so-called yellow machine that Waga was parading himself all over the place here, saying that it was given, I don't know, it's 80 million or something like that, or it was some kind of friend who was giving it to him or so, later on just to go know that it has a provision within the national budget that cover this yellow machine, for which they are fighting to remove the speaker so that those kind of things or clandestine or activities or what have you will pass in the budget so surreptitiously that the Liberian taxpayer or people who are paying their taxes will not get to know about it. How were Liberians going to be informed about these things? So it is we the people that can stand up to the government and make them to know that yes, you are accountable to us. It's a social contract theory, that talks about what if I give you my votes, you have something to give me in return. Yeah. So all those things, we will continue. We will not get tired. We will continue to speak about these things in the country, the status and affairs of the country. We'll continue to talk about these things, going forward. We're not going to be quiet on it.
Sure. But brother, I want to thank you so very kindly for using the time, to be with us. I know how busy you are. There
Yeah.
are other things doing. But for you to be with us, I want to say thank you so very kindly. We really do appreciate it. And we hope and pray that, your schedule will permit you, to join us again another day so we
Exactly.
can discuss the
Yeah.
issues,
Mm.
because there
So
are lots that are unfolding. And what we need to do is to continue to expose this government. That's
exactly.
one of the good things that we can do to ensure that Boyka behaves.
Hmm.
Because from all indication, this man seems to have no empathy, no sympathy.
No.
Somebody will say in our Liberian way, no sorry for her for the people of Liberia. Even though he will
No.
kind of say love Liberia, build Liberia, but his
Hmm.
actions are completely contrary to what he is saying with the
Yeah.
love, the bill, and everything. We are
Hmm.
seeing this man and his family, they have engaged themselves in a broad day stealing competition, stole money from Liberian people, a wealth two kind say, oh man, say, okay, say you too,
Yeah.
you stole, you got
Hmm.
$1,000. I come and take my
Yeah.
own 2,000 for in the Liberian people too.
Bringing
And
all kinds
nobody
of
is held
activities
accountable.
and things that would defraud the Liberian
That
people.
will
Yeah.
defraud the Liberian people, and nobody
Hmm.
is held accountable. We saw what happened to
No.
Ami Moda. After the
Yeah.
man used the money, he just left from the place. He said
So
he
those
resigned.
are selective kinds of fight against corruption that he's doing too. Because if
Sure.
you only take action against certain people and then leave the other people, that's a very selective form of fighting corruption. If you say you suspended the guys who were at LWSC or so, right? Is it LWSC or LRRC? Those guys who went and I think they took some money or so and duplicated some names and all of that, right? So now, why can't you do same to what's his name, your minister of state for presidential affairs? Why didn't you
Sure.
also dismiss and investigate Ami Moda? You just allow him to just resign and go with 10 million, 10 million United taxpayer money also, along with a vehicle that was bought around 95,000 or 100 or more, or 200,000. That taxpayer money he should have been investigated and not to just say he should resign. Bill Mangate Jones is also there as Minister of Finance. You know, has there been any investigation commission? No. So Baka is not serious about fighting corruption, my brother. Baka is not
Mm.
serious about fighting corruption. But we will stand with the Liberian people and we will continue to flag out, these misrules, and corrupt practices that are ongoing in Liberia there under the Joseph Baka led government.
Sure. Thank you so very kindly, my brother, again for taking up the time to be with us. I really do appreciate and hoping that we can have you here, on another day for us to discuss the issue as it relates to Liberia. Thank you and have yourself a God bless day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, my dear brother Prince. And I want to say thank you again for your effort, what you are doing to inform the Liberian people. Do not be deterred. We want to say we appreciate, we support you. We are here. We continue to give our own support whenever the need arises. And we want to say that uh, to every Liberian, you need to stand up for yourself in your individual ways, and then you need to stand up for yourself. Support under the Paraba Hut program by our brother Prince Sharif, who is informing the Liberian people. If even you have to share the video, if you can do it in the best way possible, watch us on the YouTube channels and all of that, and support his work because what he's doing, he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for the Liberian people. Thank you so much, Brother Sharif, and have yourself a good day.
Thank you so very kindly. Fellow Liberians, again, want to say thank you. We are hoping that maybe next week or so we can bring the ambassador Roosevelt down. This year is going to be a different year. We're going to be bringing people on as we discuss. But again, we want to say thanks to each and every one of you for the time, the effort, and everything. We do appreciate you. So until we meet again, fellow Liberians, we want to say thank you. Have yourself a God bless day. Love you all, and bye from our end.